block or even just our hand to the top of the head and move around a little bit, walking, or you could try getting up and down off the floor. And I want you to keep your head completely still and move the eyes around. So notice just the eyes are finding things to look at, especially favoring the upper half of a sphere. So you're looking up, out to the side diagonally, just directly over to the side as well, since we spend so much time looking at close range objects, screens and devices, and looking down. So look up, look all around, and try walking around like that, imagining that you're holding something on your head you can't move, so that you are able to move your eyes in isolation of your head. You can even try coming down. I'm just sort of flitting my eyes around from place to place. Maybe you come down to seated and back up again as you move your eyes around and keep your head totally still. And just play with that. Accommodation, focusing. Being able to toggle between close and far range focus is a critical skill. And perhaps if we're locked into a device and a screen all day, one that's a little bit lost. So while teaching online remote classes, invite folks to look away from the screen while you're teaching and look at as far away within the room or out the window as they can. You could also have them in, say, a standing pose like a lunge or a warrior pose. Maybe they have their arms out in front or one thumb out in front at arm width length. Have them toggle between that close range, maybe it's a little closer, and that far away point. Not shifting between the two or not shifting to the other point until the one they're looking at is totally clear in clarity. That is a skill called accommodation or focusing. And we're practicing toggling between near and far focus. We could do that seated. We could do that lying down. We could do that with our one near focus, maybe out to the side, so that we're having to move our eyes off to the side focus, maybe not that far out. And then look at our far away point, and then our near, and then our far away. We could have it down here, as if we're on a device. Close and down, up and far away. We want that to be resilient and able to be flexible and able to quickly and easily toggle between those two visual focuses, accommodation or focusing. Find times to invite panoramic vision or a relaxed and sort of defocused gaze, where the information coming in is kind of soft and open and expanded and dialed out. One way to do that is to focus on the periphery. So maybe, sometimes I do this walking outdoors. I just find one point to look at, but that could certainly be incorporated into a movement practice. Say again, you're in a standing pose or a single leg balance, something like tree pose. And you could actually have your students move their hands around, wiggle them around in the periphery. And have the gaze maybe be straight ahead, but really focusing in on awareness of the periphery. Or it could be perhaps a lunge, maybe with a little locomotion, so that going forward and back, and moving the fingers, and again, focusing in on the periphery. Or I often do this just seated and have people imagine a big circle frame around them, bring their hands back so they're not seeing anything, and wiggle because the periphery picks up on movement, the fingers forward until they come into focus or awareness, and then move them back, and they come in from all different angles. This again could be incorporated into any kind of standing pose. Say you're in Warrior 2, for example, and you could invite people to, maybe they focus out over the front hand, and then maybe they stay there and you just have your two hands coming in, or one hand coming in to the wiggle into the around the frame for peripheral awareness. And that's another way to kind of soften, dial out. Our muscles within the eye constrict when we're looking at close range. and relax and lengthen when we're looking at far range. So we're creating a lot of eye strain and general fatigue by looking at close range screens and devices. I would also invite people to not only not look at you or look far away while you're teaching remotely, but to close the eyes, to do things like palming, where we seal off all light and stimuli for a little while. That could certainly be done before the final relaxation or guided meditation or relaxation or shavasana. But just throughout the class, any kind of class by Zoom or remote, asking that, inviting people to just shut their eyes, remove that visual stimulation. I'd say the biggest takeaways would be inviting far, far away focus in the room or out the window. If you're teaching outdoors or if they're outdoors, for sure you could offer that for them to look far away. Maybe if they're in any position throughout class where they could look up and far away, maybe out a skylight or again out the window. That would be a really important one, and peripheral awareness and closing the eyes.